I said it was a Debbie Downer story, but it's more like a story of and if you, that's my nose piercing, hold up. Explaining that even though sometimes you're sad, sometimes you're happy, sometimes things are working out, sometimes they're not, it's gonna be okay at the end of the day, and you just gotta push through, because you know, when you lose something, you gain something else, and you could be at your lowest now but still have hope, type thing. Okay, bye. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be telling a bit of a Debbie Downer type story, so prepare yourself. Ever since I can remember, I was kind of like a very shy child. If you knew me in elementary school, you knew that I was the kid who always wore sweaters every day, sweaters and jackets, and never taking them off. My hair would always be up, I would never have it down. I was always just that person who was very shy, very awkward, never really talked to people. I had a group of friends I would hang around, but I wouldn't even really partake in many conversations with them unless I was like one-on-one with people in the group, because I always felt very awkward, like out of place, because a lot of the people I've always hung out with were very outgoing. So I could be, but like only when I get to a point where like being comfortable with somebody can I really show that. Elementary school, I was shy, I was quiet. I got made fun of, kind of, but not really. It wasn't like bullying, it wasn't a deal. It was mostly just like, you know, people would like pick at little. I remember this one instance, this dude came up to me who I thought was my friend, which he was my friend, but you know, he was just being like a beep. He came up to me and he was like, "Oh, I heard you like Justin Bieber," and then he just looked at me and he started laughing, and then just little stuff like that would kind of get to me, but it wasn't like that big of a deal. I wouldn't go home and cry, but I would just be confused, like, why are people so mean? Things like that. So fast forward to junior high school. An asshole the first day. Then after that, I just like went back to my natural habitat. I was trying to break out of my shell. I just went right back in there and was like, I don't think I was ever really depressed in junior high school, but I was still infatuated with the idea of being depressed. I'm not gonna lie. Instagram, I would see people post depressing quotes and pictures and like images of people cutting themselves, and I would hang out with people who were kind of emo. Like during classes, my normal group of friends, they were actually really like hype people. The people I would hang out in classrooms were kind of depressed people, and we would all talk about sad stuff, and then I kind of started finding comfort in that sadness for some weird reason. Some of them, like, I don't know, I would talk to them about certain things that we would just got into the subject of like cutting ourselves and stuff, and like I never cut myself out. And I would watch stuff on Instagram, like videos of people cutting themselves, and I would be like, I wonder why they do that. So then like it freaked me out at first, it really did, but then like, you know, I just shrugged that off. Like I said, had reasons to be, wasn't really. Freshman year, my best friend became friends with this other girl who, it's funny because now the other girl is like one of my best friends, but became friends with another girl, and I felt like I was being replaced. That wasn't the case. They would try to include me, but I honestly still felt like more replaced because they were kind of more outgoing and I was still very shy. And I just felt like I just felt very awkward and uncomfortable. They would do things that I wasn't normally used to doing with my best friend before the other girl came into the picture, and it got me kind of depressed to the point where I didn't even want to hang out with them. I like made the decision to go by myself at lunch and just sit. Our campus was like an outdoor campus, so I would just like go near a classroom where I knew nobody would be, and I would just sit outside and, you know, chill by myself during brunch and lunch. And I would do that, or I would go into classrooms and just chill by myself. I started being very, very antisocial in the back of the classroom. My first period was a studying period. What I would do, dude, look at the, okay. What I would do is I would ask my teacher if I could like just be by myself and sit at the back, and she would normally say yes, and I would literally like sometimes take a desk and just like put it at the way back of the classroom against the wall. And our classroom was huge. Like that classroom was, I think, the biggest one on the campus. I would just like go to the way back, and I would just basically have my head like this, and I would just be either listening to music with my earphones in or doing my homework by myself, not wanting to talk to anybody. When people would pull up a chair to try to talk to me, I would get really awkward and uncomfortable because I was kind of sad. And I started kind of using social media as like an outlet. I had a separate account that nobody really knows about until right now. I'm not going to say what the account, I would necessarily post on the account besides what I'm going to tell you right now. I had no friends. It felt like I didn't talk to anybody. I was very by myself. So what I would do was I would talk to people online, which sounds kind of creepy, but I would just random people around my age, and I would just like talk about my depression and my sadness. And I remember just like coming home from school, not talking to anybody, upstairs to my room, and I would just sit, not even on my bed, but next to my bed on my phone, and like against my bed on my phone, and I would just like, you know, start talking to random people and posting, because I was kind of popular on my account. Nobody really knows this. This is weird. And I had like literally like 5,000 followers and stuff. And I would post pictures of me cutting myself, because I was at that point where I remembered my junior high experience, and I was just like, maybe this would make me feel better, because I was very alone. I didn't talk to anybody. Home, I'm not gonna like get into detail about my house. I'm very bad at asking for help or telling people what's wrong, so I just like eat at me, and I just like, you know, chill with the sadness. And that's what I was doing. I was chilling with the sadness, and I would cut myself and post pictures online, because I knew that people online would comfort me and talk to me and be there for me, because like nobody in real life was. So I made some friends. I started cutting myself, like I said. And it wouldn't be like, you know, like very deep cuts, but all over my arms. Like it literally looked like I would cut them in a way that was kind of smart. It would look like I like fell in a bush and I got scraped by a bunch of like leaves and stuff, because I didn't really want people to know that I did that. I was in class where I would have ripped jeans, and I would just get like either the bobby pin or even like a razor sometimes from the pencil sharpeners, and I would just like cut through the what are they called, the rips. I would cut through the rips of my jeans just for the fun of it. Honestly, it was kind of psychotic, but let's not get into that. I got cold, hence this. But I would do that. I would be kind of a weirdo. Then one of my friends noticed, and she went and she told the counselor. The counselor confronted me. I denied it, but he asked to check my arms, and I told him I fell in a bush, and he looked at me like, really, bitch? No, you didn't. And you know, this whole thing happened, and I would have to check, or he would check up on me and stuff. But then I kind of stopped. I kicked that habit. And then sophomore year was a little bit better. I didn't do that anymore, but I was still very depressed. I was still very alone. I didn't really talk to anybody, didn't really like anybody, to be honest. No hate for people, I just didn't like the idea of like having to socialize with people. Like I said, my social anxiety was so bad at this point. I would just do the same things. I would go to the back of the bus when I had to take the bus, and I would just like put my head in my arms, and I would just like sit there, or I would look down. I would always, or my hand covering my face, or with a jacket, like, you know, I would always have it like covering my face, because I don't like my nose, or I didn't like my nose. Like I hated my nose. I thought I looked so ugly and this and that. Like I always have my head down. I wouldn't talk to people. People thought I was very weird, a lot of them, but I was just really shy, and I have like really bad social anxiety. Like I remember times in class where I had to present, but I would cry during presenting, to the point where teachers would like come up to me and give me a hug. Well, and I like once laughed so hysterically I couldn't get a word out. Like it was just like, it was that bad. And yeah, that type of stuff would happen to me. I got my friends back. I would hang out with the same girl I talked about previously, but I was still very quiet in the group, very awkward, and I didn't really like talk to people like that. I would kind of be like an extra. Yeah, I would only ever talk to her, to be honest, because she's my like only real friend, because I'm very selective with my year. It was better than freshman year, but it was still hard. Then junior year came around. Junior year was a year that was also very hard for me. I was just dealing with a lot of like self-image type issues, like just like about how I felt about myself and how I looked. And I would be that girl who would go to the bathroom like 10 times during a class period just to retouch up their makeup because they felt like they looked so ugly. And I would never go to school without makeup at that point, because I started wearing makeup sophomore year. But I would never be caught dead without makeup because I just thought I looked so ugly. I looked ugly either way now that I'm thinking about it, looking back at it. The stuff I would do, not cute, girl, not cute. I would be very insecure. I've always been that type of person who doesn't eat in front of people, because I have that idea in my head that people are constantly judging me for eating. That's due to some childhood stuff, to be honest, but like I said, I'm not getting into that. It was just like how I felt. And yeah, I was just at that point where I was just very, very down. And I got on this one specific fight with one of my friends, and I didn't talk to her for like a month, maybe 2, because I'm stubborn, she's stubborn. It didn't work. And I didn't talk to her, but I would be by myself, and I would like, my older sister went to my school, and she would ask me if I wanted to hang out with her and her friends and stuff. But I'm just that type of person who I feel like that's kind of lame or whatever for me. Other people I don't care, but for me, like, I just thought she was doing it out of pity, and I didn't want to like intervene on her and her friends, so I just like stayed to myself and kept to myself. And I would do the same thing I did freshman year. I would go out and sit alone by myself during brunch and lunch and just kind of cry, to be honest, while listening to music and just chilling and like hiding, obviously, because I didn't want anybody to see me. I would literally like try to hide in between doorways and stuff, because yeah, I didn't want people to know that I was a loner. But I was, and nobody really like knew that. I would go to the counselor's office sometimes just to like talk to the counselor, because I love my counselor so much. So yeah, that happened 11th grade. And then there was this one specific instance where at home I was just having a mental breakdown point where I wanted to die so badly. I was crying, I was screaming. It was like all that. I would like, I had a glass bottle and I would hit it against my legs to try to bruise up my leg. I'm psycho. I would do things like, here's the thing, I wanted to, but I knew the consequences that people would face due to those actions, so I never did. But I did want to kill myself. Little things like putting my face into my pillow and just like pressing it in for as long as I can before I knew that I was gonna pass out. Get off. And I would do stuff like, you know, like just like cry in the shower. And one instance I was, like I said, having a mental breakdown. Then I decided to, I broke a light bulb, and I used the glass because I knew, like, you know, light bulbs have poison type stuff in the glass. And I got it, and I cut myself really deep 4 times, only 2 times. Yeah, 2 times scarred, and it was really deep. I had to put like gauze on it and stuff. I cut it like deep as fuck. I don't know why I didn't do it. Okay, no, let's not even get that. No, I was about to like literally say like, why did I'm such a psycho. Okay, that was one of the turning points. After that happened, life slowly got a little bit better because I started to talk to people more, and I started to kind of make more friends, and, you know, annoying, depressing stuff that I have to talk about. But I'm gonna talk to you now, because it plays into 11th grade, about some people that I met that year that honestly like impacted my life in such a a big way, in such a good way. And like, even though I don't talk to some of these people anymore, I'm just very grateful to have known. Like, I mean, it's crazy because people don't realize that even if I'm not sitting there or talking to them, I'm crying about my depression, or my sadness, or what I'm going through. The fact that, you know, those people made it feel like it was okay without even talking about that, like, that meant a lot to me at the time. It did help a lot. So, okay. 11th grade was honestly, like, all my years of high school were kind of shitty, but 11th grade was like the best year for me, because like I said, like, I don't know what else to say. Like, I talked to people that were such good people and helped me so much without even knowing that they were helping me. I just did my makeup and I want to go ahead and cry. This girl and this boy, and they were both in my same class, and they were just really good people. They didn't know each other before we met either. All of us kind of just met in that class, and I'm not gonna say what class or anything because I don't want, I'm pretty sure some people who listen to this will know. People, you know, I don't want them to know. So I met this girl and this boy, and we had the same class together, and we would just sit next to each, like, it's so crazy because we're all such different individuals, and we weren't like the Three Musketeers or anything, but we weren't like that. I got close with both of them, and they weren't that close with each other, but we still all tied into each other, and they still mean, like, whether I talk to them or not, so much to me now. And like, I'm so grateful for having known them, because little things like that and people like that really did make life bearable. And especially because, like I said, I don't talk to people about how sad I am. I might post poems and I might make videos like this, but like, to talk to me about my sadness and have me go into depth is very hard for me, because I know, like, nobody wants to sit there and hear a sob story, but like, sometimes, like, it feels like it would be nice to like be able to tell somebody either way. We were all friends in our class, and we would just talk and laugh and joke, and it's crazy because we were all such different types of people, but we were all like, you know, we were all cool, and we were all talking. And like, when I met this dude, like, I would joke around with him from the jump. I had no intention that we would be friends, and I had no idea that that it would like mean so much to me, to be honest. Just like a great individual. Like, the reason I cared for him so much and I respected him so much is because he was down to be friends with any type of person, and he didn't judge anybody. He would just be down to be friends with everybody. He wouldn't judge people. He appreciated differences, and like, that's kind of why I was so appreciative of him in my life, because I never really told him anything that happened, but I knew that if I did, he wouldn't look at me differently because of it, as like weird as that sounds from somebody who didn't like tell him. Like, that's why I just cared so much about him. And as for the girl, bro, she's like literally still like my best friend. Like, she was so outgoing and so like honest, but she was very understanding as well, and she was just so caring. And yeah, she, like, at first we would bump heads a lot, but then like, as I got to know her, like, she was just such an honest person that, like, even myself, who I'm an honest person, but bro, like, I couldn't handle it at the time. I was like, nah, you're too mean, this, that, at first, but like, nah, she was just being honest the whole time. And like, looking back, like, wish I would have stopped being so sensitive. But you know, talk to that dude like every day. We would text, and we were just like such a good friends, and it was so cool. Like, it was so natural, honestly, it was so natural and it was so random. It was honestly so unexpected. And like before I met him, the day I met him, I didn't even know he was in my class. From not knowing to like hoping he would come to class every day because I just wanted to talk to him so much. Like, that's crazy. Summer of 2016, which is when I was about to be a senior, it's honestly so dope. It was the best summer of my life. Like, not that it matters how many friends you have, but I had so many friends that I genuinely loved so much and like cared for so much, and like it all just meant so much to me, especially because I was so depressed and like at my breaking point 6 months before. It was crazy because around like December or November is when I met them, and like that was when everything was going on. So they really did help me. And then senior year happened. Whew. Senior year was hard for me once again, and it wasn't anybody's fault but mine, honestly, because I don't know how to speak up. I'm not saying like, oh, that means like, oh, I would have got what I wanted, but you know, speaking up, at least it's out there, and I never put it out there. But that's besides the point. I was just heartbroken, but I was not only that, I was still very nothing was really the same regarding me and my friends. It just felt very empty a lot of the time. I felt like I was just so sad for my friends, too sad at that point. Like, I would talk to them and I would just be like, bro, like, I would just think to myself, like, bro, like, you're so sad, like, nobody wants to be friends. They would like tell me differently, but like it would just feel like I was just a burden, and I didn't really want to hang out with them because of that reason. Not because I didn't like them or anything wrong with them. It was literally me. Like, I felt like I was too sad of a person for them. I would still continue to hang out with them though, just not hang out with them outside of school like we normally would. I would do things like go out for runs at night, not caring if like anything happened to me. I would run on this bike trail and like, you know, just do things that I never really thought I would do. I would make myself throw up after eating. I would binge and purge, and I would eat nothing the whole day and then wait until my mom, who babysat my cousin, I would wait until she left to go drop him back off where he lived. And what I would do was I would just eat random stuff that I didn't even like and just make myself throw up. Do things like, you know, pull out my hair. Like, I had such thinning hair, like, because of it. Like, not like it wasn't even just thin, it was thinning like constantly and continuously, because I would just pull it out due to frustration and sadness and mental breakdowns, and like it would be really bad. I would also do things like post sad stuff on social media, and like I still kind of do that now, but like it's more like quotes now. I would post that stuff on my spam account a lot. I would just do a bunch of self-destructive stuff. Like, I even stopped doing the stuff that I loved. Like, I stopped working out at that point. And a lot of people don't know this, but like before I even had a gym membership, I would work out, and I would work out at my house since like literally 10th grade. I would work out at my house. I had like weights, and I had an elliptical in my house, and I would just like do some workouts like 2 hours a day. I would stop doing that because I would just get so depressed, and if I did, I would work out in the dark. I know that sounds really weird, but like I just didn't want to see myself, like see anything, to be completely really depressing time for me. Freshman year and senior year were the worst years of high school, but bad things happen for a reason. So out of high school, don't have to deal with a lot of people who would hurt me just by like looking at them. Nothing against their happiness, of course, but it's just sometimes when stuff doesn't work out for you, it hurts, and you just don't want to witness it. Well, after high school, went to college. Before college, I met this other fool. He was honestly, to be completely honest, an asshole at first. Of course, I still digged it because girls dig assholes. And I mean that in the most respectful way, because I was kind of a bitch. Like, I'm gonna be honest. So close to him, he became one of my best friends, like, ever. Holy fuck. Deadass. Like, even if we never talked again, I would still consider him one of my best friends. He really did help me so much with stuff that I didn't think I would ever, like, get help with in that way. I don't know how to explain it, but besides him, I re-met, in a way, this girl that I knew in high school, who is now my fucking best friend, which is pretty fucking cool. She helped me get a job. You know who you are. And I started talking to my friend more, who I had art with in high school. If you know, you know. I had a very good group of friends near me. The first year of high school, I still talk to that girl I met in that class 2 years back, and, you know, first year of college I met. Yeah, I had a good first year, and I even enlisted into the military. A lot of people don't know that. I enlisted into the military. But before that, I went to go, okay, so here's the thing, 2 branches in mind. I had 2 branches in mind, and I was gonna pick either or. I wasn't really picky. I would do research prior. I would ask people who I worked with who were in the military or currently are in the military. I would ask them, like, you know, about the military, ask them all the positives and negatives, pros, cons. I would ask people at work, anywhere I went, like school, or look up stuff online, watch videos, everything. But I never really talked to a recruiter. January 12th, 2018, the day I was going to talk to a recruiter, both branches. And I was walking outside of my class. I asked to use the restroom, and right before me was a recruiter from the Marines. Marines were one of the branches I was going to talk to. Marines or Army. Honestly, it was just like, it felt like, you know, fate in a way, because, like, I've never seen, I mean, like, I knew it was possible, obviously, but I've never seen Marines on campus at COC before, and, like, I literally went there for a whole semester prior and never saw that. And, like, the day that I was deciding which branch I was gonna enlist in, the Marines were right outside of my door, and, like, it just felt like fate, honestly. It felt so crazy, because it's not even that they were, like, just on campus. They were right outside of my classroom, like, right outside of my math classroom that I was in. Like, it was really crazy. I went and I talked to her. I was like, I was actually going to, like, you know, talk to you, this, that, and, like, then my recruiter came up to me, and she told me to stop by, and I stopped by, and then I fell in love with the idea. It just felt so perfect. And then fast forward, I stopped talking to the group for a little bit to focus on school, but then I finally decided to be serious about it. And in April, a little before April, but I started working out with her pretty intensely, this, that, whatever. I went to MEPS, I enlisted. May 29th is when I left to boot camp. I was there, but I got discharged, and I'm not going to say why I got discharged. Some people know, some people don't know. It's really not anybody's business. But yeah, it was crazy, because right before I left, I got a raise at my job, and I had 2 classes left for the end of the semester, and, like, in my English class, like, literally everybody dropped out of, like, 40 or 35 students or something like that. There was only 4 people left, and I was one of them, and then I left. So missed out on those credits. Dumb bitches are gonna be dumb bitches. I'm back 6-7 months later, and I'm here wondering what I'm gonna do with my life, but being positive, because everything happens for a reason, and I want y'all to know that you can go through so much and, like, stuff can crush you, like that boot camp thing. Y'all don't understand. Like, I was so depressed. Ask any of my friends. I was so depressed for months, like thinking I was a failure, disappointing the people I loved. It felt like all that, and like just hating myself so much. But I pushed through and I kept going, and like, I'm not perfect right now. I'm here. I am not necessarily happy with where I am, but I'm happier that I'm changing my mindset and building a better life for me, and I know I'm gonna be okay. And I just want you to know that even if it's hard right now, you will be okay as well. Like, time really does heal, and things happen for a reason, and people leave. And like, I literally went from having so many people behind me, so many people next to me throughout the years, to having none. Like, it was such a cycle. Like, some years, some months, some weeks, whatever, I would have everybody, and then before I knew it, I had nobody. And right now, to be completely honest, technically I have like 4 friends, and I don't care about the number, but I'm just saying I don't even talk to them because I'm trying to figure stuff out. And it sucks and it hurts, but it's not anybody's fault. It's just like what's supposed to happen, and I'm just waiting for a better day to come. And I just want you to know that, like, you could go through so much in life. Like, I'm not, like, I didn't even tell you guys like all that I've been through, to be honest, but like I said, some stuff just isn't for the internet. But been through a lot, had so much happen to me, but I'm still here, and I'm still going, and I'm still gonna go. And like, some days it's so hard, you don't understand. It's so hard to think about the fact that I lost like everything that once meant so much to me. But I know that, like, you know, what I'm gonna be gaining in the future, it's going to just be something else that was wonderful that happened in my life. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up.